Okay. That may be a bit loud. Let us continue. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in the cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No answer. We're out of luck. It seems there's no one in there to help with our queries. How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes? I shan't be stopped when the fit is on me. I reveal in kicking doors off their hinges. Please wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What prey can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Oh. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in the cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you, now! Oh, man. Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsley Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt? No. I'm a great detective among detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. The man uses the magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So might I be bold to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh my, did you see that? Yes, the case just shook. Leave, now, otherwise. I'll call the steward. So, this is Kazuma's neighbor? Mr. Grimsley Roylott? There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. Couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Alright. Last night... Mr. Roylott, we'd like to talk to you about something. No. Oh. I do not want to talk. Leave my cabin now. This is going terribly. We're not getting anywhere here. I agree, but there may be someone else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. What do you think you're doing? This is my cabin. Get out. Can we just have a quick look inside your traveling case, perhaps? No. What a pity. I think we're out of luck. I think you're right. Agree, but okay, so we need his help, I guess. Do you have a moment? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You need only address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed, I need contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call my great powers of detection into service. Oh. And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for once. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what this most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russians will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh yes, please. Well then, what you are about to see may well astound you. For I am about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great dedication to the case. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on an account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiness? Okay, that's a bit... okay. I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right, and Mr. Sholmes, I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Shh! I must have silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Just a thought. Yes, I've quite made up my mind now. There could be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you are about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Huh? And, number two, the other conclusion I have drawn. You are, at the very moment, no less in the mindset of committing the most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Oh, Naranda-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What an irrefutable twaddle. Oh yes, I've read about it in countless times in the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color is drained from Mr. Roylott's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How could you? How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say? Very well, then. I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon our journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Old man's identity. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place. is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now, we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself this magnificent beard, Mr. Royalt? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular, the fascinating front page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, "Revolutionary Veil Brovitsky flees Russia via Shanghai." As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. Okay, this is cool. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, Valian Brovitsky. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Okay. Wrongdoing. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are at this very moment on the brink of committing the most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a proximity to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you the eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the fugitive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time. I think that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps? One slight enough to fit therein? Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me. We are not well suited for the life of crime, are we? Your careless cope, Doyle, betrays you. Once again, we need only follow your fugitive glance to find the answer. Yes. The reason you refuse to open the traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another most stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page, renowned prima ballerina of Novak Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us to but one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the Russian enigma. Alemanitsky. That was smooth. Susato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes? Could you come over here a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Ah, yes, I recall our discussion earlier. And at the time, I believe I told you. That man is a revolutionary. Sorry. Well able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, the part of him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child into that case, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something permanent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain lethalness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of concentrates in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Mr. Norohondo, something occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observations are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Susato. It's just one or two keywords in his deductions that seem to let him down. So, I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some keywords in his deductions. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions. Precisely. Precisely the thought that was going through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. Ah, and you, my good fellow. Sorry. Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists? What? Where are your handcuffs? Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. So, DB looking... Okay, so it's the same thing. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. Doesn't quite sit right with me though. Doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means I suppose that the deduction is wrong. Sorry. Let's try to switch the keyword here, Naruhondo-san, and see if it helps matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deductions better, then what? And I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhondo-san. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in the last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears for? Oh, well. Wait. Golden locks. You're on the verge of using shears to cut away your copious beard. The golden locks? What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No. The color is not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylott's head? And how's it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Oh, yes, that's true. So, it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here.
Yes!
You were on the verge of using your shears to get away with the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one still very much in her youth. Oh no. If only I had managed to cut off my hair. No one would have suspected. Oh, this is awesome. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. You have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Okay, I've read this. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea the old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you looking at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Noranda-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry. You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room, deducing the facts with Mr. Shums. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. Not strictly cum. Okay. Yes, I understand. Say no more. But anyway, let's focus on the next part of Mr. Shom's deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true. That Mr. Royla is actually a woman. Exactly, he, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has taken a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else, something that fits the facts as we understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. Okay, so that means she's the ballerina girl. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. Let me just save real quick.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right. You've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novik Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is of the Novik Ballet's prima ballerina. Miss Nikolina Palova. Ah! Wow. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Now, as for my second conclusion... This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime that this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Norihando-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Shams? Stop it! Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. Oh. Wow! Look at this dazzling tiara! Never seen anything like it. Are those real diamonds, do you think? Oh, Norihando-san, try it on. What? Me? Isn't it usually girls who wear tiaras? Wouldn't you like to try it on? Oh no, I couldn't possibly. It's far too beautiful. Why does this tiara look familiar? I feel like I've seen it somewhere recently.
Yes!
The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. I believe this tiara was worn on stage by dancers in the Novik Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you committed is theft. Oh no. Yes, you left your ballet troupe unlawfully, taking their precious tiara with you. I have no one, no family, no friends. I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an earl? Or Pooja? It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old, and she runs away all by herself? She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point to hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that exists some reason why you wish to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there is no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I even laid eyes on them. Dear me. Yes, the reason why you refused to open the case is written in the book on the shelf. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem like that the reason why this young lady doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. It must be somewhere in the same area if that's where her gaze was involuntary drawn. I agree. That's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookcase. Okay, there was a passenger on board. I've already read this. I didn't mean to do that. Whoops. An assistant's assistant, then. Alright, I'll think again. Oh, now I have to sit for this again. Let's examine it. It looks like these are all the same books that we have in our cabin. Suppose the steward likes to make Shore passengers have plenty to read for the long voyage. And have you noticed how all the books have fallen over? Just like in Kazuma's cabin? It's almost like someone's taking a sweep at them. Maybe Miss Palova... While she was practicing her ballet. Anyway, the point is, we don't have time to look through all these books at the moment. We couldn't even if we wanted to. They're all in Russian. Well, that's a relief. Let's try our luck elsewhere. This is a charming little picture, isn't it? What is it? Someone climbing a steep mountain slide? Or descending one, it seems to me. When you've been on a flat sea for a while, maybe you start seeing hills and mountains and everything. Okay, not that. It's a metal door. The same as in Kazuma's cabin. Yes, it's still rather slim bolt. The same as well. Well, if Miss Palova was actually... oh, whoops. Sorry. Was actually glancing over the door here instead of the bookcase. That would suggest a desire to run away from this cabin. Maybe. That's all there is. No, whoops.
Yes.
Ah. I find myself never wanting to never have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, sorry. I'll try again. This is tough. The reason you refuse to open your case is written on the... Okay, well, actually, wait. Oh, because of the rules. I should... That means she's probably keeping a pet inside her luggage. I don't know why I didn't think about that sooner. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage. Passengers must keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves one possibility, Miss Palova. Inside your traveling case is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel rules. A passion. A pet. Elementary. So, clearly you aren't who you said you were. No, I'm not Grimsley Roylott. My real name is Nikolina Palova. Everything you said was correct. You was scouted during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could you really have snuck on board without being noticed? I don't think she snuck on board. That's my theory anyway. In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intend to serve all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to women, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well done. We leave well alone. So if it was just you about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? The veritable thinking of a belle. Why none other than this young lady naturally? More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself, so no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into a questionable old man, I see. I put on a fur hat and a fake beard, then, just before you came in here, I saw the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearance completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and at that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door. Things happen like that sometimes, don't they? Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two talking about the same thing? There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You're right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew, Your secret is safe with us, I assure you, but in return, you must tell us in as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night. Yes, alright, I will tell you. Well, Mr. Norohondo? Wasn't it something, Mr. Shom's great deduction? It was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Palova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. And one more thing. Oh, yes? What? Observe your wrists. My... Your hands are cuffed again. What? But how? True to my word, I have restored your shackles. When and why? There's still a shadow of guilt over you, Mr. Narahondo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment. Can't it really? Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Palova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I had to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in the diary really was. Ugh. Let me see. Sorry. Hypocrite? Can I show you this? I'm actually a university student from the Empire of Japan, you see. That means nothing to me. No, why would it? Mr. Narahondo, if you're determined to flaunt your Yume badge, at least choose a Japanese person who might recognize it. Mr. Sato, can I show you this? Maybe later. Oh, I could show Inspector Hosonaga too. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? Only the crewman told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, that's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking. Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Palova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novik Ballet? Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about ballet. I will start a new life. You wish to forget? A challenging proposition when you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I have no money of my own. The Novik Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. And this poor girl. So, you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of the ship, they've all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in the cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Palova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Miss Norahando? Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Palova's explanation to what conundrum. I'm not sure, but... Miss Palova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Buria stopped by no port last night. That's it, of course. So, how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? Now that I think about it, the crew outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. Yeah, she didn't sneak on here. They let her on here, and they're trying to protect her. Not to mention, they're also Russian as well. It was just after we asked them about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. That is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what was that? It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel. Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Palova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to deduction. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Palova is going to tell us what really happened. So, the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? I don't think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell any of the crew. If they found out my precious... Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? Is it, It is, isn't it? Maybe an adorable little rabbit. Aw. Ha! You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Consider the benefits. A rustling wake-up call, daily fresh eggs. And when advertising strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So, you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Well, it would appear the friend's identity is a closely graduated secret not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I would like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed light on it. Alright, now's our chance to present. Miss Palova, would you take a look at this? I don't know. I don't know anything. Mr. Alejandro, you're frightening the poor girl. Oh, sorry. I wasn't trying to. The diary? This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary. Yes, and he wrote in it last night, before he died, something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then, a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m., what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentioned joins to the cabin, you see. It's up there, on the wall. In other words, the cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Palova, has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? Whistling. Maybe it was her pet in the suitcase. So that would mean it's an animal that whistles? No. I don't know anything. Oh. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes, what? Wow, she's fast! Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? I must leave. Now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylott. Get out! The passenger said out, or you want me to throw you out. It looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. So we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Palova's cabin, we were circumlocutously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Oh, nice. We're making good progress. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clues as to what speckled band might be. Didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past the sailor guarding the door. Excuse me, sorry. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were secretly back on my wrists. I really wish we had a chance to look around in Miss Palova's cabin. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Hmm? Maybe you want me to throw you out again, hmm? Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter, understand? Understand. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhondo-san. I guess we move. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhondo-san? D don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Hmm. Oh. Ah, you're back. Inspector! What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd give you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So, it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we've found. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolina Palova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballot fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case, at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go committing crimes, do they? Oops. Now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to make my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Borea medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh. Kazuma's mortem report. Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to a cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. Yeah, I would have assumed that too. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. What if it was his own katana? Like that could be a possibility. I may be reaching, but that's like a definite possibility, obviously. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never greet you to leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Oh, she's feeling guilty now. And I should probably read that. Post report of the SS Boreas medical officer giving the cause of death as a cervical spine injury. There were no traces of an external injury or poison. Victim male, Far Eastern, time of death somewhat between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae, resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the arca. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Okay. The Great Detective. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. Oh well, whoops. Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about the floor investigating. Uh, then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. "It's shoe polish," was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. Mm, it was when it's when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass. Do you see? Ah, someone left skid marks, I guess. Perhaps he was talking about about this brick-colored mark. Do you think? Oh wait, that was no Honda. Ah yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red, then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? Okay. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. A piece of a small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes were found by the victim's body. Seems to be a bell. Was this what if this was the thing that was said about in the diary? You can hear a faint whistling sound. Looks to be some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector, you look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head. That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Seems the two of them were drugged. Uh... Really is such a beautiful color, this glass. It looks like whatever it was has broken clean in two. But the other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's the brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective. You seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow split on the floor, and they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an ambiguous pointer to you, Norihanda-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly ambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words or word in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. Yeah. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments writing his diary. 1:23 a.m. I can hear faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the vertical grill. Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Norihanda-san. We will. It's some 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in a wardrobe the entire time, Norihanda-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh no, I suppose not. Although, it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. So, the ventilator joins to Miss Palova's cabin. Yes, that's right. And just a few moments before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band as he described it. If only Miss Palova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, you tied them up, didn't you? You had to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in this cabin leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can relax when things are untidy. You, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to... Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, I mean, Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into a ball and throw him into a gold room. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of our way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at Le Carnaval. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhondo-san. This guy's like the Detective Gumshoe of this series. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their camera pets, blah blah blah. So bringing a pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what from this friend takes as yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend? There's more to this than it seems, I think. Oh, whoops. I think I've investigated everything. Yeah, there's nothing else here. I'm gonna have to move. Ah! Look, Naranda-san! Seeming strong enough is gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. Uh, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la-la. The great detective way. This caroling... I know that lark voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Palova's cabin while we can investigate. Definitely. Before that strong-knot crewman comes back. Strong enough. Not stringy knot. Miss Palova isn't back yet. Oh. So, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Those are our private things. There's not a moment to waste, Narahana-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhondo-san. By ourselves, if we have to. Yes, we will. All the books are toppled over together. Look every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. In Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Palova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad has to happen on the ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in there too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. The case is open. Oh my! Miss Palova's case is open! It's completely empty inside. But according to the great detective's great deduction, she's hiding a special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she happened to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buya. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? That is not good. I wonder what this little saucer's doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof of just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? That was a weird conversation. It would seem this teapot is empty. So, the natural conclusion is that Russians are very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Palova only came into the cabin last night, she hasn't had a chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're exclusively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Narahanda-san? There are just a few books on the desk. Nothing else, by the looks of it. Well, Miss Palova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's already occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Palova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Narahanda-san. Kindly remember that. I have to read this again. Ah, yes. They're displayed in this cabin too. Whoops. This is your rules of passage. Passengers, blah blah blah. I just hope Seaman strong enough doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh yes, so do I. The cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch on the cabin door has. Spelled straws across there's no way anybody could have entered the cabin from the outside. Yes, it's not practically heavy-duty bolt, is it? Still, it wouldn't slide across, No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. Okay. And it seals up perfectly too to stop the any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a needle around the closed door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. That's some heavy luggage. What the? There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin, too. Yes, it's a bell cord. Oh, I see. The dots are connecting. it's a bell cord. I can't resist. She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug, too. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Naranda-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here. Yes? Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I was looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know? Anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Polovia's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Maybe. It's so that there's a gas leak next door. The occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled he saw a speckled band coming from the ventilator. Could that have been it? Oh, whoops. Maybe it's so that there's a gas leak next door. Okay. Yeah. It's just the same. What have I not looked at yet? Investigated everything, haven't I? I'm missing something. Oh, the suit. Oh, the chest? No. What am I missing? Hmm. There's nothing else in here. Oh, this, I suppose every cabin has a wasp paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhando-san, it's poor etiquette to go sitting through someone's rubbish, you know? Those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. Okay, well, that was a waste of my time. Am I missing anything? That should be everything. Oh, I didn't see you there. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, look! Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Cha-la-la-lee-la-la-lay. I did great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off than you could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it was lucky Herlock was about. Excuse me. I solved it all and I stood tall. I did great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What was it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climatic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is a good time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log and penned the stockly built crewmen who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. And did you find anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. This morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report, nothing to note happened, so... You truly are a student of the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry. Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman of stands sentry in the first-class passageway. And he has almost no religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Bleh. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report. Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there were circumstances aloof last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribbling nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would make my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Alright, thanks. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. You're starting to understand why my way is I see what makes Sholmes brilliance. Oh, ouch! What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning. For some reason, nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke up this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Dang, was everyone drugged? No, you too? Alright. I guess I'll go back into the cabin. I guess we'll be there now, right? What's that? What's that? Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted at quarter mile. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. Oh gosh. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san. Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I I think I'm fine. Thank you, Norahanda-san. Looks like we avoided the collision. I think... Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness. What about you, Norahanda-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello? Is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Norahanda-san? Unbolt the door quickly. What? The bolt? Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And... Look. Look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhando-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I'd better tidy this place up first. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Oh man. So is that the investigation over? Investigation part 3. 3 parts to investigation? It's crazy. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath and gently slid back to the bolt. You, what are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. What if there was another motive for them to... doing that? Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming, crew is running everywhere. The first class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean that person pressed that button outside? You wicked intruder, dressed in all black. You are the devil. Sorry, me. I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, no, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Palova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector? Yes? Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man?
Da! And he is a stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe?
Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else.
Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You are devil.
It doesn't look good, does it?
There is a cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we talk in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to the police.
Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately! Alright. I'm gonna call it here for now. And end stream. So, thank you all for watching.